Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Amber Sinclair, the managing editor of SoapHub.com.
I'm Alina Adams, a soap hub writer. You know which one I am. I'm the one you love to hate. And I'm the author of Go On Pretending, a novel about classic soaps like Guiding Light and more.
We'll be here every week talking about what we loved, what we hated, and what we have questions about for every show.
But before we dive into the current soap scene, a moment to honor one of the greats. Eileen Fulton died last week. She played Lisa and As the World Turns, starting in May of 1960 and on and off until the show went off the air in September 2010. It is not exaggerating to say that Lisa was the original daytime bad girl. Without Lisa, there would not have been a Rachel on Another World, played first by Robin Strasser, then by Victoria Wyndham. There would not have been an Erica on All My Children, obviously played by Susan Lucci. There would not have been whoever your current favorite bad girl on soaps is right now. She would not have existed if we didn't have the prototype of Eileen Fulton as Lisa. She was beloved. The name Lisa hit #1 in popularity 2 years after her debut and stayed there for almost a decade. She was hated. Eileen loved to tell stories about how people would come up to her on the street and not just yell at her. One woman hit her with a handbag. There was a lot of, that was one of her favorite stories. I interviewed her for the Soap Opera Hall of Fame in, I think it was 1998. And she loved telling that story because people would just come up to her on the street and they would say, "I hate you." And they would hit her with their purses.
Oh my God.
She was a pioneer. Our Private World was a primetime show, spun off a daytime show in 1965 because she was that popular. I mean, can you imagine? It was a primetime show, spun off a daytime show, and later, I think maybe about 30 years later, As the World Turns actually used a storyline from what had happened to Lisa when she was on the primetime show on the daytime show. So that is how long this woman was an icon. She was one of a kind. I worked with her on As the World Turns, and you knew if you needed a quote or a photo or just a laugh, Eileen was your woman. We salute the passing of a legend.
Okay, with that, we should probably dive into the shows.
The shows that wouldn't be here and the bad girls that wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Eileen Fulton.
Yes. And Unfolded the Beautiful, Grace is carrying on that bad girl legacy.
I knew you'd have feelings and thoughts. So Amber, let's go for it.
Okay. First of all, what the heck is going on with Grace? What the heck? So was Liam ever even sick? Because I don't even think he was sick.
You think she was making him sick?
Long-term game plan here. Pretend he has a brain tumor, give him meds to make him sick to get $1 million from Dollar Bill. For what? We still don't know. And also that means that we're not going to lose Liam.
Oh, which is good.
Which is great news for most fans, okay? Great news for most.
Oh, so well and tactfully put, Amber.
Yeah. For me, that also means we still don't get Scott Clifton back to General Hospital, and we still have to watch him as Liam.
Why isn't anyone thinking about your needs?
Why is no one thinking about what Amber wants? I'm so glad he's gonna live. I'm so happy that. Yeah.
But what was his life going to be like now? So for a while there, when the whole story has been the thing in his brain, now that there's just brain there left, I mean, well, let's.
Is poor Carter going to lose another woman?
Oh.
Carter finally has a shot at love here, and we're like, no, you be sad lonely boy forever.
Well, he's used to it, right? Whereas Liam needs female validation.
Liam is that generation's Ridge, and you can't convince me otherwise.
I guess in every generation, like they used to say with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, in every generation one is born. Perhaps in every generation you need a Ridge-like character, and now it's Liam.
The waffling waffler. Also, we got to talk about Sheila and the toes.
I mean, on the other hand, let's talk about a bad girl that's so mesmerizing that her toes fascinate us. Let's talk about those toes.
But I'm like, are we counting down her lives based on how many toes she has left?
I think that's very.
Is she down to 8 lives now?
Well, I always used to think we counted Sheila based on her children. Remember, every time she popped up, there would be like a new child. So maybe her toes are equal to her children. I think we're trying to English professor this in a way that I strongly suspect Bradley Bell did not intend. But that's a really interesting one. And wouldn't it be awesome if when long time from now down the road, the show ends, it's because Sheila has run out of toes.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That would be so fun. What a great way to end an entire series.
It would be better than Capital, which had Sloane in front of a firing squad and we never found out. Yes, I and many other sub fans are still bitter about that little end.
I would be bitter too. Oh my gosh. Okay, good news though. On Days of Our Lives, we have Gwen back.
I know. I knew you'd be excited. You do like Gwen. You do like it. I know that you love Xander and Sarah. So what are your feelings about Gwen being back?
Okay, I'm so torn because Gwen and Xander just have the heat that Sarah and Xander wish they had. Right? Like Sarah and Xander are the sweetest couple. Like they're just soft and gentle with each other when they're not fighting.
Both of them aren't telling horrible lies and committing horrible crimes, but other than that, they're quite adorable, like Care Bears.
Right? Right? But then, like, there's Gwen, and Emily O'Brien is a person who can have chemistry with a wall. Okay? That girl has pulled off chemistry in every single storyline she's ever been in with whoever they put opposite her. And you have Paul Telfer, who also can have chemistry with a brick wall. Right? Like, anybody that you place with him, he's going to have chemistry with. He's just that. So you take these two people who have this much charisma and you put them together, and I sort of forget Sarah exists.
Well, here's where I am on the Gwen and Xander situation. So first, I'm happy to have Gwen back because it's really nice to have someone remind Leo periodically what a horrible human being he is. Because now Leo is all, oh, I'm a foster dad and I'm in love and I'm a reporter and I'm even going to be a good citizen because I'm going to be on a jury, although he really whined about that. And I think it's nice to have, you know, the woman who he really screwed over by screwing her husband come on and remind him, you know what? You're not a saint. So I'm enjoying Gwen there. But here's my question. You are thinking, is it Gwen and Xander or is it Xander and Sarah? I'm thinking, why have we had so many scenes of Xander and Gabby lately? Ooh. And they're bonding scenes. She helps him calm down Victoria. By the way, that child has to be over a year old. She's not going to keep lying down. They keep wanting us to believe that she's laying down in her crib. She should be climbing out all over, and she should be doing the thing where she drops the toy over the edge every minute, so he has to pick it up. She's at that age. But
time to see a toddler.
Yeah, well, it was very funny today when Philip said he keeps her in a little prison, and he's like, "It's a playpen. It's a prison." Remember the scene in Back to the Future where he sees his uncle, who's eventually going to go to jail, and he's sitting in a crib, and he's like, "Get used to those bars, pal." So Philip does have a point, but I'm just very curious what we're testing and who we're testing, because first we have Gabby help him soothe Victoria, and then we have Xander so sympathetic when Ari is missing. Things don't happen at random on soaps is all I have to say.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So do you have a feeling if you were going to rank them, Gwen, Gabby, Sarah, where would you put them?
Okay, I need to see Gabby and Xander.
Yeah.
I need to see it.
Interesting. It's
even if it doesn't last long, I need to see it. I need to see it. I need to see that. Can you imagine the schemes they'd pull off? Actually, can you imagine the schemes they'd fail pulling off? Because they're not very
good, but they totally support each other and they be each other's support system. Oh, you messed up that murder. That's okay, honey. You're still terrific. I still love you. They'd be very, very supportive. They'd show us how to have a healthy relationship while scheming.
She'd be like, that's okay. Sit down. I made you dinner. Like, and he'd be like, it's okay that you lost $8 million, babe. It's fine. Let's go for a walk.
Exactly. And, you know, he'd be an interesting stepfather figure to Ari because she's wild and he's definitely had his wild days. So it could really work. And she'd be a really great stepmom to Victoria because she even said to him how she always thought she'd have more children, but now she can't. It's just, I'm intrigued. You know what? I didn't see it coming at all. And so I'm actually intrigued in the same way that, okay, let's be honest, EJ and Belle both being in court or Johnny's case is beyond stupid. On what planet would his father, okay, your father could be your defense attorney, but not when he's also the victim. I mean, it's not that weird to have your father be defense attorney and your aunt is the prosecutor. So it's stupid beyond words, but oh my God, are they not?
And that the prosecutor and the defense attorney are sleeping together.
Well, that I'm actually liking because that's very classic screwball comedy. I think about Adam's Rib with Tracy and Hepburn, or my personal favorite screwball comedy, His Girl Friday, which isn't about lawyers, but they're reporters, and there's banter and there's sexual chemistry. So that, if they were just, I mean, we've had that plot before.
If they were just sleeping together?
Sleeping together. No, if they were just sleeping together, it would be fun, but it's silly. But I love them. I can't help it. First of all, I think Dan can do anything. I'm amazed by the things he can do. And this is another one. So, kudos days that these are couples that I would have never even thought about. I mean, and Belle's always been in his orbit because she's Sammy's sister, but this is really working for me. They're probably my favorite couple on the show right now.
Yes.
So I am willing to ignore all the stupid just because I'm really enjoying watching them together.
I love Belle so much more with EJ than Sean.
No, it's the first, I've never disliked Belle, but she's been like a neutral for me. And this is the first time I'm excited. I see Belle. It's like, ooh, I hope we'll have Belle and EJ today because suddenly I'm really into Belle.
Now, speaking of silly drama.
What a great transition. That brings us to General Hospital.
Rocco,
look at us both together. Rocco found out how he was born, which we all knew, which wasn't a secret. But what's the drama? It's not like he found out that his parents gave him away. They didn't.
No.
It's not like he found out that they kidnapped him. No, what happened was Britt stole him, gave birth to him. The minute they found out he was theirs, they took him back. What's the drama?
Okay. Worst things have happened to children on soaps. Okay.
Those children living in that house. Now, I mean, I love Kelly T-Bone. I'm excited she's coming back. I think she's great. The only thing I can think of is it going to turn out that it actually was like a double swap in that she thought she was taking Lulu and Dante's embryo, but it was actually hers. So Britt is his bio mom after all. That's the
what would be really funny is if it turns out to be Brooklyn's.
Yeah, sure. Apparently eggs just float around poor Charles and people just grab them. Yeah, that would be funny. And except for the fact, remember, the latex allergy, because Rocco and Dante are the only ones. So that's the only story I can see. And as far as I know, that's not the story they're giving us. I'm excited to see Kelly/Britt back, but this, very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, if I may, well played show. That Robert Tristan Rogers cameo. Awesome. What a surprise. Great job keeping him a secret. So great to see him. So in that, I'll tell him they did a great job. Sasha arrives with baby Daisy. So I have a question about baby Daisy. Has anyone considered the possibility she's an alien? Because she keeps apparating from room to room. And there was this show in the 1970s, which was called Soap. And it was actually supposed to be a spoof of soap operas.
That one.
My favorite show of all time. I can go on and on and on about it. But one of the storylines was that a character was kidnapped and replaced by an alien. And then his wife got pregnant and the baby they had was an alien. So have we ever considered that Daisy is an alien? Because who can forget Casey the alien? This is a show that had aliens. I'm not pulling this out of nowhere. I mean, how they always say we want to use our show history. Shows are always saying, well, there we go. That Daisy is an alien. And here's something else I've realized about Daisy. Does General Hospital have a bit of a flower name fetish? Because Daisy's Daisy. Sasha's mother is Holly, but we know she's not named after her because that relationship is complicated. Oh, and by the way, out of nowhere and stupid, but also Holly, they're flowers. Also, we just had Violet. Remember? Violet, who was named after her mother's favorite flower. And back in the day, there was Lily, who remembers Lily, who went click boom. in the show's probably one of their best sequences. If you haven't seen it, Google General Hospital, click boom. It's one of their best.
I'm gonna do that.
That was Lily. And then before her, we had Rose, Rose Kelly was the original owner of Kelly's Diner before it was taken over by Ruby, who is not a flower, but a gem, and before it became Bobby. So this is just one of those fun facts that you get here at Soap Hop Says. And before I stop going on and on about Daisy, I have to ask, what was the point of Daisy? Because if Sasha just left, what was the point of this whole character? We held this, oh no, they can't find out that Michael is Daisy's father. And, Jason, who just enjoys taking other people's children as his own, steps up. That never goes anywhere. Because when it's time to admit who the father is, both Jason and Sasha just go, oh, it's Michael. And then Michael steps up, and you think it's going to have something to do with the custody battle for Wiley and Amelia. And it really doesn't. And so now she's gone, hanging out with her dad, and presumably Holly somewhere there too. So what was the point? I mean, I realize Sophia Matson is leaving, but unless you're going to recast Sasha, what was the point of this whole storyline?
I've asked that since she got pregnant.
Yeah. Deserves a baby. She deserves a baby after
baby.
She deserves a baby, but why is it Michael's?
Why is it Michael's child if the baby's not going to be on the show anyway? Because now Michael just looks like a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
It's just not, I understand maybe the writers didn't know Sophia Matson was planning on leaving, but they had to know she was leaving up to a certain point. So why not recast and at least have the story make some sense?
Or have Carly fight for that child and have Sasha leave and the baby stay with Michael. Carly loves collecting other people.
She loves collecting babies. And, she just lost Avery to her actual mother. So you think it's about time she had someone else's baby.
Yeah, that isn't that like her and Jason's whole thing is just collecting other people's kids.
And in fact, if
like
Sophia was leaving, you could have killed off Sasha, and then you could have Jason. In fact, you could have Jason and Carly, because remember back in the day, Carly left baby Michael with Jason and then went off to have various adventures in mental health land. So it was really, and then Carly claimed that Jason was the father when it was really AJ, and so on and so on and so on. But so how interesting would it be if in another case, Jason was the legal father of Daisy, and then Carly found out that Michael was the biological father, and so it's been 30 years since that storyline. How interesting would that have been in all those layers?
But no, instead she gets whisked away.
Well, as I said, yay Robert, good to see Robert, and nice all the best to Tristan Rogers and his health struggles. Other than that, all right, so that's General Hospital. Up next, Young and the Restless.
We both have so much to say.
I'm going to start with a little one before we go into the big one. So Jack has finally realized his brother is useless. Now, I'll be fair. He loves him. He wants to support him. And he really doesn't want Billy to throw another temper tantrum. You know how Billy throws the tantrum whenever people don't automatically worship everything he's doing? It's why he dumped Victoria. Think with Chelsea was a little bit more than that, but if you're not 100% supportive of Billy, it's I'm going to lay on the floor, hold my breath, and hit it with my fist. So I'm sure Jack didn't want to have that. But now that he realizes that Billy cannot stick to anything, here's my question. What if Jack decides to take Abbott Communications away from Billy, but what if he uses Sally to do it? Because at this point, Sally, who I happen to really like, and Courtney Hope is great, and she's, the reigning Emmy supporting actress winner. What if he uses Sally to do it? Remember when Sally first came to town? They connected. There was a real click there. And I remember even saying to my husband at the time, Peter Bergman lit up when he was in scenes with her because he was finally given something to do. He was giving flirty stuff. He was having really good stuff. So what if Jack says to Diane, I'm going to use Sally to take the company away from Billy, but I'm just really faking my feelings for her. So you cool, okay? And Diane says, yeah, sure, because this is not the Diane we know. And she apparently just goes along with anything now. So he may say he's just using Sally, but let's remember a really important detail. When Jack was married to Phyllis, Phyllis had an affair with Billy.
That's
Jack
right.
moved on and tried to show that he's the bigger man and he is the bigger man. Like, yeah, let's also not discuss that the reason that Phyllis had an affair with Billy is because she found out she'd been having sex with Marco, who Victor hired and made look like Jack. So basically, Victor hired someone to rape Phyllis over and over again. And strangely, afterwards, she felt a little odd. So she had an affair with Billy. But what if Jack subconsciously, yeah, he says he's just teaching Billy a lesson about Abbott communications and using Sally. But what if this is really, hey, remember that time you had an affair with my wife?
Yeah. Okay. Mariah murder.
Who, what, where, when, why?
For what reason?
Thank you. That was a good one. I'd left that one out. Good one.
For what reason? I just want to know what the reason for this is. Why are we ruining Mariah? Why are we taking away her marriage, her child, and eventually she's gonna have to be behind bars for this?
Well, no, I mean, remember I
For
just said how
what?
Victor hired a rapist and Victor's all hunky-dory. So that's not necessarily true. More interesting to me is that it looks like they're running two murder stories simultaneously because they're running still Damien. Oh, by the way, I don't believe Damien's dead. Speaking of why bring someone on, this seems to be the theme of this episode. Why bring someone on with so much fanfare? So first we even had Amy. We had Amy for a couple of weeks just talking about Damien, her son Damien. Then we even had a fake out false Damien in Holden. I mean, that's a huge buildup. And you bring him on for just like 6 months. I think it hasn't been more than that. So I don't think Damien's dead. I think there's more going on here. So that's the first thing. But technically, we're running side by side two murder stories. Mariah, who, what, where, when, why, how, what for, and Damien, what the heck is going on? At this point, I'm like, hey, maybe Mariah killed Damien, and maybe the old guy was really Dumas, and then Chad took over. Sorry, I called him Chad. My bad. Kane. That's a tricky one. Sorry. Kane actually just took over Dumas' identity, and maybe that's why she left Tessa and Arya, because she had to go to France and kill Damien.
Well, I mean, going to France would be a good idea, but apparently nobody can leave from there because despite the fact that Adam climbed up on a mountain with nothing but a water bottle, not a granola bar, not a backpack, nothing.
But excellent cheekbones.
Yes, with his awesome hair and a water bottle, managed to climb up with using his bare hands, but nobody can figure out how to leave. Adam figured it out.
Yeah, it's not that Adam only came, Adam also left.
Yeah, Adam also but none of these rich, powerful elites can call for a helicopter.
I mean, he says self-service is down. You know, there's things called landlines. Why don't you at least look through the house and see if you can find a landline? And Kane has a computer. How about break into his office?
Right? That, and like, obviously there's internet. There's internet there. He has all those cameras set up.
Yeah.
And like, at worst, send like Billy or Nick down. They're tough enough. If Adam can take on the mountain, Billy or Nick can also take on the mountain. Get down there, find a payphone, and call for a flight out. Like, what is happening?
And you think they'd want to prove, well, if Adam can do it, I, manly Nick, and even manlier Nikki certainly can do it. Not Nikki, sorry. What's his name? Billy.
I think Billy is standing there watching Adam get the best of him. Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on.
So
no, we're just going to be stuck on the mountain forever. For what?
And our final story that we also have any thoughts about. So Beyond the Gates. So Lurky is dead. Let's break down Lurky's death. Yes, I know his name is Kenneth, but I called him Lurky for weeks. I shall continue calling Lurky. So first, couple of simple questions. Can Martin not do anything right?
Nothing.
No, he did not know it was summer and his kids were out of school. So to the point where it shows what an involved parent he is. Then he didn't think to say to his kids, hey, don't bring adult strangers into the house. It's dangerous. That's not an unreasonable thing. That's not, I mean, the teenagers are going to pout, but teenagers pout, whatever you say to them. If they go to their friends and they say, well, my dad's so lame, he said, don't bring adult strangers into the house. Nobody's going to say it's probably because he's hiding a really big secret. They're going to go, yeah, adults really suck. But nobody is going to say anything about that. Instead, he attacked like a lunatic. He stomps over to Bill, to yell at him about being kept out of the loop. And then he says that his grandfather is the one responsible. So why not go yell at Vernon instead of Bill, who is really just doing what people asked him to do? And the only answer I can come up with is because Martin is a coward.
Yes.
He previously thought he was the worst just because he was a terrible husband and not great dad, but he's just bad at everything.
God love him.
He is cute. His hair
Very
looks
cute.
very
At least he's cute.
Yeah, well, that's important. But I mean, I even got to wonder, how did he get elected to Congress? And then I remember, oh, wait, he's a Nepo baby. And his grandfather did it for him. By the way, the scenes after his press conference where he was just ranting and Vernon was looking at him like my grandson is the biggest idiot who ever lived. Mwah! Chef's kiss. I loved Clifton.
Beautiful.
Yeah, of every parent or grandparent who has given their kid every advantage, and the kid has managed to be a dumbass no matter what.
Look, John Abbott should have given Billy.
Oh, yes. Or Jack should give. Yes, it's the one everyone should give Billy. That is a very, very good point. They should take a lesson. You want to send them a screenshot. Here's an acting lesson. Here's how you should look, because Vernon is like, yeah, he's an idiot. But now I have to take it macro. This was micro. I have to take it macro. So we finally got the story of Martin's deep, dark secret. And let me review. So you are telling me that a beloved long-term senator and a sitting congressman who were confronted by two nobodies, one of whom had a gun. The gun was presumably still either in the guy's hand or at least laying somewhere, presumably with the guy's fingerprints on it. And they called their own cops. They call Elon and they call Marcel. And after all that, they thought they wouldn't be believed. Not only are they telling the truth, not only are they ridiculously powerful, not only is there physical evidence, not only did they bring in their own police people, but after that, they felt that they had to hide it. As my husband said, even OJ got off and he actually did it. So what, this cover up, all they had to do was tell the truth. And in fact, if they were concerned about Martin's election, there are places he'd be a folk hero for doing that kind of stuff. And so I have to just really believe that when Vernon said he was protecting Martin, as we have determined, Martin is an idiot. So Vernon was really just protecting the family legacy and the political career. And he kind of gave us a hint about that, because when he and Martin were having breakfast, he said to him, oh, you're important. You're a congressman. You have to be out there doing whatever it is congressmen do. So far, he has yet to do anything. So again, I'm loving Clifton Davis's performance, because he is acting my grandson is an idiot. I'm the one who has to keep all of this together, and I'm the one who has to keep the Dupree family legacy going and save the entire political establishment, because my grandson is an idiot. Ahem.
Greatest actor on the show. He's fantastic.
Well, but I don't want to end with negativity, because here's what I am loving on Beyond the Gates right now. That scene, or that series of scenes where Vanessa and Doug rescued Randy from Joey, that was fire. The way they came in and they were like, this is what we're going to do. Randy's going to walk out. You're not going to do anything. Loved it. Loved that scene. And I also loved Danny trying to interrupt Andrew Ashley. I mean, what does she say? She's so basic. She makes vanilla look spicy. I mean, that was great. Danny was great.
That was a great line. I'm going to use that line. New insult for everything.
Yeah. There's so many occasions in your life when that is a really good phrase. And on top of that, suddenly Derek with Shanice, hey, Derek's not a block of wood. Derek is actually interesting. He was funny. He had charisma. Suddenly when you get Ashley and Derek apart, interesting things happen. So let's lean in and explore more of that. There is a lot of good stuff happening on Beyond the Gates. It's just not Martin.
Yes. Hopefully next year they get a lot of Emmy nominations.
Oh, they should. I mean, there's so many of them who deserve. I think not just Tamara Tooney and Clifton Davis, who seem like the obvious. I think Daphne DuPlessis is doing great work with Nicole.
So good.
And she really preached some truth to her parents. Like, how did I end up being the only one left out of this? She's great. Obviously, Carla Mosley is great. Several of the young actors are great. Yes, definitely next year. That's good. Oh, and of course, what is it? Trisha Mann Grant, who plays Leslie.
Man.
There's some great stuff going on.
She's gonna be a she's gonna be a legend from that show.
Yeah, which
she's
brings us back to
the
Eileen
legendary character that nobody ever forgets.
Yeah, like Eileen Fulton, which you started at the beginning. She is definitely, talk about it. There's a direct line you can draw from Eileen Fulton to Leslie / Dana / whatever name she had.
Yeah.
So I know I've talked a lot. Rest assured, that's it for now. I'm Alina Adams. My novel about the early days of soaps is called Go On Pretending, and you can find it wherever books are sold.
And I'm Amber Sinclair, the managing editor for SoapHub.com. You can find me here every week or on TikTok under the username Destroy the Canvas, where I showcase my silly little art that we now do in the bird room, so you'll get to meet all the birds. Make sure to join us next week when we'll have even more to say about our favorite soaps, past and present. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here and visit SoapHub.com, where we have all the recaps and interviews and a ton of spoilers. See you all soon.
Okay. Now comes the moment.